siyensya at teknolohiya. Alamin sa programang Pinoy Scientist. Tuwing linggo, alas 5 ng hapon hanggang alas 6 ng gabi. Pinoy Scientist. KBP Best Science and Technology Radio Program. Pinoy Scientist. Dito sa Radyo Agila.
Magandang hapon po sa lahat ng mga tagapakinig ng Radyo Agila. Ako pong inyong Pinoy Scientist, Dr. Custer, at kayo po ay nakikinig ngayon sa ikasampung episode ng Space Talks na pinamagatan namang Humans in Space. And mistulang ito na yung huli nating episode kasama si Dr. Thais Sumano ng Innova Space. At kasama nakikita po natin ngayon si Dr. Thais. Hello Dr. Thais, how are you?
Sorry. Hello. Nice to be here again and again. It's a pleasure.
Okay. Dito po sa Space Talks ay mapapakinggan niyo po ang kakaibang kwento tungkol sa siyensyang pangkalawakan o space science. Nais po natin maiugnay ang ating mga kapwa Pinoy Scientist, mga bata na nag-aspire na maging siyentista ng pangkalawakan, lalong-lalo na po ang mga estudyante sa mga tanyag na scientific at eksperto sa ating bansa. And today we bring in experts to let you know what's going on in the world of human spaceflight, and space habitation. And you'll be so amazed because they're so young, and you can see them on screen now. And I'd like to introduce to you our two guests, Thomas Dukay. Hello, Thomas. How are you?
Hello. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thanks for invitation.
Thomas is a co-founder of Space Crew Working Group of Innova Space. And then we have si Sankar Palit, founder of Life 2 and Beyond, and he's also part of the Space Crew Working Group of Innova Space. Hello, Palit. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you all doing? And it's great to be here today.
Okay, great. And we have Jason. Hello, Jason. Jason is my student. He just finished his master's in astronomy, and he's also Jason, you're the director. Am I right?
Yes, sir. I'm the
director.
Center for Astronomy Research and Development.
Oh, very nice to meet you, Jason.
He's
Nice
also very young. Dr. Thais, look at, the people running space now are kids.
We look ancient.
Yes.
But I this is this year in 2022, this is our last joint program between Innova Space and the Radio Agila Pinoy Scientist program, Space Talk. And then I thought that it would be interesting to invite two young, very enthusiastic young students that are pretty much linked to space exploration in many different ways. And because I think that's the new generation, and I hope this is a motivation for the young generation in the Philippines to join us and be part of our enthusiasm and our activities, even if they want to join Innova Space under this group that is in fact coordinated by Thomas.
Dr. Thais, can young space enthusiasts join Innova Space? Do you have a group that they can be part of?
Yeah, we have this group called Space Crew. It's a working group, and we have people from different areas, students from different levels, in fact, of undergrad, grad students, plus different areas of knowledge. So it could be cosmology, astronomy, or astrobiology, medicine, and so on. So the idea is that we are together, we have joint activities and promote the area somehow. Of course, it depends a lot on the person, to join the activities and to propose new plans and actions. But we are very open to have people from the Philippines. The idea is to have a very global network of students under this area. And Thomas is the coordinator of that. Palit is a very, very active member, so I decided to invite both to talk about a bit about their experience and so on, plus this idea of a student network in the area of human space exploration and other areas as well.
I invited Jason here, Dr. Theis, because he started a TikTok video about space science.
Ooh.
And he wants to. Jason, can you tell us about your TikTok video?
Hello, sir. Yes. Well, I just started this. Sorry, my surroundings a bit loud, so I'm just outside. But technically, these TikTok videos I made them for my students because I teach first year students, and it's obviously they won't be able to grasp some of the astronomical terms. So I just made these 60-second TikTok videos explaining some of the astronomical terms, and I'm still on the letter C. Hope that I can be completing it the whole alphabet. So once that I will be able to upload the letter up to the letter Z, I will make these videos available publicly.
Jason, you are now up. There is Palit and Thomas here. Maybe you want to grow your network also for your TikTok video so that it can be appreciated by other students, not just your students.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So I think we will be committing ourselves into making more videos. Not only me, I will also include some of our faculty members to do such, and because it's now part of our uh, natural exercises. We are doing online and virtual classes, so I think um we can do more videos and we can share it on our Facebook
That is
page.
right, Jason. Because nowadays the young generation have a different way of learning, and TikTok is one of the bite-sized learning that they can get, and that is a very efficient and powerful approach, creative, low cost, and very powerful approach to get students to get to be interested in space science. So, I suggest Jason, you do a lot of your TikTok videos, collaborate with not just with your faculty but also with Innova Space. So we'll connect with Dr. Thais. Okay, Jason?
Very welcome. Very good
Okay,
idea, and
Yes. Thank you very much.
okay.
for sure
But
you can contribute.
Jason will be staying here because he might be interested to ask questions or answer some questions. But before that, we'll have a break. It's 7 minutes after 5. Magbabalik po ang Pinoy Scientist.
Ang oras na ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Cable Link, your link to a world-class entertainment.
EBC, Eagle Broadcasting Corporation. Ito ang Radyo Agila. Mga bagong kaalaman sa siyensya at teknolohiya. Alamin sa programang Pinoy Scientist. Tuwing linggo, alas 5 ng hapon hanggang alas 6 ng gabi. Pinoy Scientist. KBP Best Science and Technology Radio Program. Pinoy Scientist. Dito sa Radyo Agila.
Welcome to Pinoy Scientist Space Talks. I'm Dr. Custer, and we shall be spending the rest of the hour discussing about humans in space and some activities of Innova Space being led by these young sorry for the term, these young astronomers, space scientists, Sibsan Karpalit, or Palit, and Thomas Dukay. And joining us is Dr. Thais Rosomano, the head and founder of Innova Space, and Jason Calao, who is the director for the Center of Astronomy, Research and Development of the Rizal Technological University. So thank you very much for joining us, and I'd like to get more information from Thomas and Palit. So tell us about yourselves and what you're doing and your interest. Can we have Palit first?
Yeah, sure. Currently, I'm a second year student of studying chemistry at City College in Kolkata, in India.
Hmm.
And basically, my interest towards chemistry transitioned to astrobiology and then to space studies. So, how it's basically from my from my secondary school days, I was interested in chemistry. And then during the COVID-19, I had too much time. I got to see a couple of science films, and the Cosmos, of course, one of the most legendary
Mm.
documentary series. And the Neil deGrasse Tyson's recent version of it, Cosmos Possible Worlds, was released. And then slowly, I got to meet more and more people. And chemistry is at the very heart of astrobiology. And that's why I got interested into astrobiology. And astrobiology is all about space. We are already in space. We have come from space, and we are now endeavoring to move into space. So, with the inspiration from Dr. Thais and many other space professionals, I got interested into space more and more. And today we are collaborating on our most humble ways to contribute to the space sector.
What particular aspect of astrobiology are you interested in?
Okay, astrobiology is a great field. If different people from different fields of human endeavor can contribute to it. Basically, from my part, it's astrochemistry and prebiotic chemistry. These two parts are the most interesting for me. And from space sciences, if you ask, I'm more into space entrepreneurship and space medicine and stuff that I want to work in future.
Oh, that's interesting. Actually, I have my student who did astrochemistry. She's now the head of the program of of the astronomy program, and she studied prebiotic chemistry using
Oh,
big data
great.
analytics. Okay, so how about you, Thomas? What are you doing?
I'm studying biology with a focus on microbiology and genetics at the University of Vienna. But besides that, I am also studying biology, Slovak language, and psychology and philosophy as teaching studies also at the University of Vienna. However, I have a really strong interest, although it's not my professional background, in astronomy, and therefore I am now trying to merge my interest on about astronomy on the one hand and biology and life sciences on the other hand, and therefore, yeah, my focus of interest is now on space biomedicine, I would say.
And what made you interested in space biomedicine?
So actually, due to my background, which is microbiology and genetics, I'm really interested in the genetic background and physiological background of yeah, human body,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, this coupled with the space environment. So just thinking on microgravity, for example, which is an essential influence, an important influence with regards to, yeah, space travel, and also stays on or in space. um, I would like to, yeah, discover even more the influence of space conditions on the human body from the perspective of space biomedicine.
Oh, so these are two very distinct fields that you're working on, Talit and Thomas. But Jason, I remember when we first met, your interest was right creating a drone, right? When you were still very young.
Yeah, we met into.
Several
I can.
years ago, you were probably 20 kilos less. Okay, but what what made you change your discipline from engineering to you're working now on astrophysics?
Yes. Well, because my bachelor's program, it was on the engineering college, but now we are on the College of Arts and Sciences. And when I knew that I had to take pure astronomy, and just so happened that Rizal Technological University, my mother university, is the only university in the Philippines that offers graduate program for astronomy. So I took the chance, and I really wanted to focus on astrophysics. It just amazed me how the stars, technically it all started with the life cycle of the star. Just amazed me that that stars can rebirth, they can reproduce, and can occupy planets, and with these planets, who knows that they must have also life also outside our solar system. So that's technically the start of everything. And now I'm pursuing stellar studies, and um, that's it. And and thank you, of course, Dr. Castro, for your guidance.
And of course, you're gonna take your PhD, right? It is astronomy. Don't forget that.
Sorry, sir.
You're gonna take your PhD. Okay?
Of
After
course,
I'm gonna get
of
angry at
course.
you if you don't finish your PhD. I'm gonna start your PhD. Okay, anyway, in any case, um, are you guys got interested in the STEM? And do you remember any like specific book you've read when you were much younger that made you so interested in the sciences? Palette.
Yes, Miss, I'm still in the STEM, of course, Miss. I'm reading chemistry as of now, and I would like to continue with chemistry as well, but combining it with space. Space is a highly interdisciplinary subject. But as Miss, to answer your question, my professors don't quite encourage me. Miss, my college professors, they say that I am quite investing my energy in a wrong subject. They use the term
Oh.
alien for space, but rather I counter that with my friends saying, but I countered that with my friends saying that chemistry was born in space after all. When you see the periodic table, they were all first made in space. And we are a reflection of that periodic table. We are all made of elements after all. And we do need chemistry to save and move beyond this planet, right? So that's why how chemistry is related. I don't feel that all the sciences are different. They're all together. Nature doesn't discriminate within the sciences or any kind of fields.
My question is here, how about your parents? They must be saying, "Oh my God, my child is getting somewhere that
Okay.
might not lead to any career." What did your
My
parents say?
basically my parents when I chose means in India we have a trend that most of the children after high school they move towards engineering or medicine, but I had a passion for chemistry and I did pursue it, so they didn't say anything. They wanted that their son pursue what his interest is, and
Oh,
I feel that they will continue to support in this endeavor as well when I want to study space and chemistry together.
and when are you going to finish
Which one? My
your
chemistry.
degree?
Okay,
Yes.
my degree it will be finished within the next 1.5 years, and then I want to pursue a master's, maybe here in India or abroad in chemistry, and then maybe move on to a PhD in astrobiology.
And what particular thesis are you in having in mind?
Okay, that's a that's quite a difficult question because even to find that question, they have to spend 2 years of their PhD, right?
Yes,
But
and
yes,
but then you don't have so much teachers who are into astrochemistry, I believe, because that's a very new field. So how do you plan to do a thesis that might be related to the field that you want to get into or you want to excel?
yeah. First, I asked, Miss, of course, LinkedIn is a great platform to connect with, and of course, we can always call me any professors. I have come to know many professors across the globe who are working in astrochemistry, and I'm targeting those universities to get into to get the thesis, something on astrochemistry. I'm not more specific at the moment, but I'm looking for those universities only.
Oh, wow, that's good. Thomas, you're also in the field of genetics, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
what are you interested how do you what brings I mean what would be a starting point in genetics that you think would be linked to humans in space or space flight or space habitation?
So, actually, when I'm thinking about the linkage between genetics and space sciences, I'm thinking of a couple of diseases which have a genetic background. And mm, obviously, for some of these diseases, the reason, particular reason on Earth, is not now yet, but I'm already thinking one step further about what influence could have a space environment for the development of these diseases. Now, if I'm thinking of cancer or some also neurodegenerative diseases, like I'm also interested very in neuroscience. So I think there is a good evidence of a linkage between the influence of or possible influence of space environment to diseases which have the genetic background.
Mm. So, what particular, for example, influence from the space environment would affect genes? Radiation, microgravity? What
So
particular aspect are you interested in?
yeah, so you mentioned already two very important and I would say the major points which could affect human health. And this is, on the one hand, the radiation, which is a very essential aspect in outer space. Um, but also, yeah, the microgravity environment, and there are a couple of genes already known because of already um, research which has been done um, to investigate the influence, so the gene expression of that particular genes and the comparison between the state on the Earth, for example, and in outer space. So, and also the whole field of gene expression is, I think, very interesting and intriguing, and also very essential not to forget about in the future research in the field of space genetics, I would say.
Oh, is there a field called space genetics now? I haven't heard that. That's interesting. Oh.
So yeah, it is actually
Mm.
every almost every question, in my point of view, which is posed in the field of genetics on Earth, can be posed also in the space, and this is really interesting in my point of view because the whole field of space life sciences is very young, and there are a lot of, or will be also a lot of opportunities in the future for young scientists and everybody interested to pose that question and to do research on.
And I think, what is common about Pallet and Thomas is you are both innovators or first movers in the field. And being first movers, you don't have a lot of competitors who are like you. And you're definitely gonna make every stride that you make is gonna be big because it's something new. And that's what's interesting about exploring different fields and looking at it from a lens of like say chemistry and other lens in microbiology and genetics. I'm going to Jason, and I'm sure you're agreeing with me with what Pallet said about our chemistry is in the stars, right? I We are essentially there's a saying, we are stardust. All the
Yeah.
elements in our body, carbon, silicon, and iron, and all those things, every organic element, they all came from the stars, the second generation stars. And in your case, Jason, tell us about what you did about pulsating stars. What is interesting about it?
Okay, so my topic about the pulsating stars, specifically for the Lambda Buddha stars, was quite accidental because that was not my main topic. But when I divert into pulsating stars, I found out that the Lambda Buddha stars are supposedly to have very metallic stars because you would expect that the population three stars they are metallic, so they would have these iron, for example. But for some reason, these Lambda Buddha stars are underabundant of carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and iron as to compare that we would expect them to have abundance on these elements. So what I did is to compare the pulsation parameters and to compare it to the provided literature on the metallicity of the star. So what we have found is that the the lambda Boote stars are actually we established around 48 minutes lambda Boote stars, and we identified two clusters, two subgroups. The one that pulsates at around 48 minutes, and the one that pulsates around one and a half hour in pulsation, but their magnitude, their amplitude remains at around the same amplitude. So that would mean that even though that they have different pulsation parameters given or provided with the frequency, we would expect that these lambda Boote stars are with the same amplitude, and so it would be a good fingerprint to locating the lambda Boote stars, because we have very I would not say very unique, but it's a quite a new stars relatively to others, and it's peculiar as it's defined, and also majority of the studies focus on metallicity. So having
Mm-hmm.
a pulsation study and coupled with a metallicity would be able to look more into the internal structure and to the mystery to why the lambda Boote stars are under abundance of such metallic metals. We would call it in astronomy as metal.
Why do stars pulsate? It's like they're breathing, right? They have this
Yes.
somehow. I saw a video of the sun, and it makes you feel it's alive. So, what makes them pulsate?
Okay, so technically, in a layman's term, stars do breathe. Okay, so there's like inhale and exhale. So stars, even a main sequence stars, they do pulsate, but it's very small that we could not this
Discern them, right?
sorry, we could not, yeah, identify it. So other stars that live on the main sequence, when they evolve, they would expect that they will be pulsating because of the internal structure. So inside the star, there are two forces that are tugging again. So that is the gravity and that is the pressure. So when these two forces um, when the gravity wanes at some point, and so the pressure, so they will be have um, changes on the light, on the output of its light. Technically it would pulsate, so that is for internal pulsation. So others is external variable stars.
Okay. So, thank you very much, Jason. We'll be having a break. After the break, I believe Palette spoke about entrepreneurship, space enterprises. I'm very interested about that because we we don't just do research. We want to innovate and change life and change humanity or community. And with space, we are learning a lot we're getting a lot of ideas for space entrepreneurship. So, magbabalik po ang Pinoy Scientist. Ang oras po natin ngayon ay 28 minuto, makalipas sa ikalima ng hapon, Philippine Standard Time, and we'll be back to discuss further on space entrepreneurship and other issues in space science for the young generation.
This time check was brought to you by EO Executive Optical. For expert eye care, come to EO Executive Optical with over 200 stores nationwide. EO Executive Optical. Love your eyes.
EBC, Eagle Broadcasting Corporation. Ito ang Radyo Agila.
Paano ba maging positibo ang pananaw sa gitna ng pandemya? Una, baguhin ang mindset. Huwag na nating asahan na babalik sa dati. Dapat i-embrace ang new normal, pagtuunan ng positive thoughts and blessings na natatanggap natin. Sabi nga, every gising is a blessing. Pangalawa, maging matapang sa pagharap sa new normal o sa pandemya. Bakit kailangan matakot kung sumusunod naman sa health protocols? Malakas ang immune system at prayerful tayo. Pangatlo, paglayin natin ang attitude na goodness, kindness, at mindfulness. Samantala, makakatulong din ang pakikinig ng musika para mabawasan ang stress. Ilan lamang ito sa mga paalaala para maging positibo ang ating pananaw sa harap ng pandemya.
Mga bagong kaalaman sa siyensya at teknolohiya. Alamin sa programang Pinoy Scientist. Tuwing linggo, alas 5 ng hapon hanggang alas 6 ng gabi. Pinoy Scientist. KBP Best Science and Technology Radio Program. Pinoy Scientist. Dito sa Radyo Agila.
Babalik po ang Pinoy Scientist at nandito po tayo ngayon sa Pinoy Scientist Space Talks. Ako po si Dr. Custer. And we know that the private sector, the startup community, the innovators is obviously going to play a big and important role in the expansion of space activities and the application of space activities to improving the welfare of everybody on this planet. And we left the question to the founder of Life 2 and Beyond, Talit, about space entrepreneurship. So please tell us about Life 2 and Beyond. And I believe you're the founder of this. Is this a startup company or a group?
No, you can consider it a non-profit, and we are going to register it soon by the next 2 to 3 months officially. And it's basically a team of young as itself, and yet mentored by experts. And we are focused with 3 things here: astrobiology, space studies, and its applications. It's more for serving the unserved communities across the globe, and especially in the underdeveloped and developing nations, to sensitize the people with these 3 fields. And talking of my country, India, though it has one of the world's best space agencies, named the Indian Space Research Organization, but there is a kind of loss of expertise, or a kind of minority in India, because when we are saying space for all, not just in terms of age group, or in terms of communities, or in terms of gender, or in terms of accessibility to space resources, I believe there is also there should be a kind of accessibility in terms of expertise as well. In India, we mean space science to be just rocket science or satellites. We do not see on the other side of space medicine, because after all, we started astronomy with the goal to move to the stars or reach out to the stars one day. And today, from 2 to 3 years from now, India will be launching its first human space mission with its own indigenous technology.
Yes, I heard that. It's in the news. It's in the news.
Yeah. So with that, it will become the 4th nation in the whole world to launch its own humans with its own technology. So in this regard, what we youth can contribute. First of all, the problem is that when they are busy doing this, it's also important for some to generate that awareness among the people, right? First, the people will be aware about these fields of space medicine and space pharmacy and space agriculture and even astrobiology and space biology and even space material sciences, architecture, etc. Then only they'll be able to avail it. And I remember a day when we were chatting on WhatsApp, Dr. Thais sent me an article from Economic Times which says that around 21 or 23% of the whole Indian population is interested to join the space sector. Okay, it's
that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in comparison to the to US and UK and other developed nations, it's quite a lot, and even in comparison to China. So the problem is we have the population is much, so comparatively the opportunities are less. So more and more opportunities need to be made by the private endeavors, this is first point. Second point is, when we talk about the space club or the space entrepreneurs, we get the three names, the trio: Musk, Bezos, and Branson, right? What about the developing and the underdeveloped nations, right? If we just one common point is they are from a developed nation, it's possible for them. And recently, I think so, day before yesterday, the first private rocket from India was launched from Skyroot Aerospace. Okay, and it's a step towards that, means to kind of challenge that even from the developed and underdeveloping nations, such work can be done.
Wow. Okay. It's fantastic to hear about a quarter of the young people are interested in space science. That's gonna be a very big tsunami of space researchers in India, and it's definitely going to be an epicenter for space development. So that's a very interesting news. And how old are you, Palit? I'm sorry.
How I am 19.
My gosh, 19 years old. I was probably playing volleyball and going to the malls and not thinking about starting my NGO. How did you do? Why are you like that? Why is, how did you get inspired doing that?
Okay, we are just 9 months now, and also I think so. Space Crew is also now 6 months, most probably. Yeah, so we just started this year, and the main motivation behind its start was that to fill up that gaps. Like for example, when you very well know that when we do research, we find out a gap, and we do not do research on the same thing over and over again, right? So to serve the community, it's important to find the loophole and work on those loopholes. So we are just filling that loophole and nothing else. It's a simple thing.
And if you're going to be an entrepreneur someday, what is your idea for space entrepreneurship?
Okay. This question I got this for the first time. We do have plans to have one of the most sustainable and kind of, you can say, accessible by public astronaut training center
Mm.
in the next decade as well. That is a vision that cannot be attained just by myself. With many collaborations it's needed. So in that sector, as first is the education and another is industry. We are focusing on both these factors. And with regard to the astronaut training center, we hope to start it with a feasible plan or a problem statement like space psychology or all, so that with less funds or less resources, we can start up and then eventually move on to the more complex objectives.
Amazing. Okay, Dr. Thais, am I talking to a 19-year-old? I'm beginning to think you are doing a filter or something because you don't sound like a 19-year-old. Oh my gosh. And here's Thomas. What's your plan, Thomas? What are the things that keep you awake at night?
so so my plans, on the one hand, as maybe I've already mentioned a bit, is my enthusiasm with regards to the research of space biomedicine. So I would really like to pursue my academic career, let's say, or path within that direction, because as I mentioned already, there is a lot to investigate. And the other thing, as I am also studying teaching studies, I'm really convinced that this enthusiasm, which a lot of people in that field have, a lot of semi or then professionals have, should be transported and to the young generations, to scholars, to the pupils. So I definitely would like to participate in several outreach projects and space
Mhm.
education projects in the field of space sciences, space life sciences in particular. And if I may mention one particular project, I'm feeling very honored being selected for 2023 from the Space Generation Advisory Council as
Wow.
being a international, or one of the international STEM outreach, um, or in the team of STEM outreach for Austria. So there will be a project, an international project, and I will be one of the official STEM space STEM communicators.
And tell us about that outreach program for the Space Generation Advisory Council.
So actually, the project is called PDP-LABAN, and this is a project for really first year pupils and children at school, so aged 6 to 10 years old, to get the impression what it is about the field of space sciences and space life sciences. And actually the the project is still under consideration, and is going to be planned, so I cannot tell much about the content yet, but
Mm-hmm.
the main idea is to bring the field of space sciences, space life sciences, closer to the very young children.
Okay. Are you planning to be like Dr. Thai someday? Because you're a biologist, a geneticist, and your interest is also in the neurosciences. You plan to become a space doctor. Do you have plans of getting into med school and eventually Dr. Thais aspired to be one of the first astronauts of Brazil. And do you have those kinds of vision, long-term vision?
Actually, I don't know if I will be then in the end in the field of space medicine itself, but I'm really promoting that idea that biology and medicine are really, or could be seen as really close related fields if you are in the right if you choose the right focus within biology. And besides the things that I mentioned, the topics that I've mentioned in space genetics, there are also other topics like space microbiology, which is investigating or dealing with questions about how bacteria and microorganisms behave in the space and what we can learn about them. So I think my um, I'm a really early career researcher, and looking forward about the opportunities, and we will see
And who
what
are your
will be my
mentors?
final.
Do you
um,
do you have any mentors now for your research?
Sorry.
Do you have any mentors and
Not
role
yet,
models?
actually, because but this is because of the fact that the space life sciences are really underrepresented in Austria. I
Mm,
would say there aren't a lot of opportunities and research group. Um, Actually, in fact, in Vienna, I know only one particular research group in the field of space life sciences, I would say. So maybe this is also a really future vision of mine, to create and establish somehow the field of space biomedicine, space life
in your
sciences
country,
in
but
Austria, in
do
Vienna.
you plan to study abroad? I mean, beyond Vienna, to get more learnings and bring them to your country.
Absolutely. I am convinced that every experience abroad widen one's horizon. So I will now finish my bachelor studies in Vienna, and then there will be the question: what will be the next? I will for sure pursue a master's, and within that question, there will certainly also the issue arise and the topic arise. Where to find a good place maybe for going abroad and learn from experts abroad.
Mm. And my beautiful memory of Vienna is, well, of Austria is I went to Salzburg. It was fantastic, but that was when I was your age. I love to travel. Okay, Jason, are you still there? Jason?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
where are you? You keep on teleporting. You were in a garden and then you're in a car and now where are you?
I'm at the mall,
You're at
so
the mall.
you
Okay.
can hear the Christmas chimes.
So Jason, uh, you're planning to get into astrophysics, am I correct? For your PhD.
Yes, sir.
So, do you have any idea or any contacts or anybody you'd like to? Which university are you going to get into and apply?
Yeah. So I have this one university in mind. I have at least three options, but one option is to pursue my PhD in Chiang Mai University in Thailand because I already been into the university uh, before we got into a memorandum of agreement way back in 2018. So um, because it just so happened that it is near to the National Astronomical Research Institute of Thailand or the NARIT, and I believe Thailand is the home for astronomy in the Southeast Asia. I believe
Mhm.
so. So I think it's advantageous also that my master's external advisor, is Dr. David Makishan, also is a researcher at the NARIT. So that's one thing I have in mind, and also um, if I will not be able to pursue it in Chiang Mai, I'm thinking of pursuing it in Japan and also in the European countries.
Maybe you can meet Thomas somewhere in Europe. Or you can, oh, I think you can also pursue it talent in India because you have a
Okay.
very strong astronomy and space science program in India. So
Okay.
you can explore those avenues. We have only 10 minutes and I'm interested to hear from Dr. Thais. We've heard about the aspirations of this young generation. We have somebody from India's in West Asia, right? Am I correct? Yeah,
Yeah,
West
kind of.
A
You can say Southeast Asia. Sorry, it's
eh,
Southeast, not West. It's Southeast
it's in
Asia.
Southeast Asia, and then we have in ASEAN, the Philippines, and then we have in Europe, and they seem to have a there's a commonality in their goals and aspiration. And what sort of support can be given to these young researchers and early career researchers that you think to really make them achieve what they dream of because not so many kids are like them. These are rare species.
Yeah, well, that's one of my goals now under Innova Space. I think that we have discussed that in the past to make space science, especially my area, space, life science, medicine, and so on, or human space exploration more popular. So I think that that's the first step. People must know about the area so they can start researching about topics and place to study and so on. I'm very glad also to supervise or to contribute with my scientific experience to different actions or plans. And that's why we established the Space Crew working group at Novi Space, which is basically as this group of students from different areas like Palit and Thomas. Thomas is the leader. He's the person that basically runs the show. I help from the background, but I think that that's a very good first step. We promote webinars and scientific research presentations in different meetings, submitting abstracts, and we are evolving now for papers, especially systematic reviews, because of course it's more difficult to do hands-on research. But if there is an opportunity, of course we grab that as well. And I would love to have Jason and Jason's group somehow as part of our endeavor. Maybe Thomas could contact Jason and see what we can do together, officially do together, between the Space Crew group of Nova Space and his group. We have two students. One, by chance, they are from India, because it was not selected like that. It was just by chance. Niharika and Swapnil, that are in the area of cosmology, and we want to bring this area to the space group. So we have astrobiology, genetics, as we were talking here. And I think that that's a very important message to the audience. Space life science, space human space exploration is not just space engineering or medicine. We have so many other areas, and they are extremely integrated. It's a very interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary field. So maybe a step to bring the Philippines in could be through the group of Jason, if of course he's interested. Thomas can present, can have a private chat one day, and then he can present the group and explain our goals and so on. And we are very happy to say that one of our lectures, one of our activities is now happening in a metaverse scenario.
Wow.
And
Wow.
we want to promote more these activities. It was a kind of first time, so it was a bit strange to everybody. But I think that with time we are going to be mastering this the metaverse. Nova Space has its own metaverse space, and now we are going to promote some activities just to be more in the area of high-tech meetings.
Wow. Dr. Thais, every time, I mean, I look at Pallet, I look at Jason, I look at Thomas, whenever they talk, their eyes seems to twinkle like stars. I mean, I'm really so, I mean, it's really an honor to meet very young, emerging, early career researchers, Dr. Thais, and they're very lucky that they have guidance from you and your group. So thank you very much, Dr. Thais, and the kids, this young generation, they're gonna be the people who will bring on the baton for space science.
Yeah, thank you very much for all this year, Custer, that we had this opportunity to have so many space talks. I hope we can produce more in 2023. This is the last one of this
And
year.
TikTok video.
And TikTok
And
videos, of
TikTok
course.
video, TikTok production. Jason, I'm gonna talk to you, and please talk with Pallet and Thomas, okay?
Okay.
Because
Yes,
I think
thank
that
you so
I
much.
mean they have their minds are very fertile. We only have a few more minutes left, so I would like to get at least a very short parting words from our three young guests. Can I start with Thomas?
Yeah, it was an honor being here and presenting Space Crew. And I think this was really also great opportunity for us, to interact, and I'm really happy also to hear insights from Jason. And thank you, Dr. Custer, again for inviting us.
Thank
It
you,
was a pleasure.
Thomas, and I hope to see you someday. Maybe we go to Vienna. I'm with the Nuclear Research Institute and the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agencies in Vienna. We go there maybe every other year to visit the office. So maybe I can see you somewhere sometime in Vienna.
Yeah, we plan.
Palette, yes, Palette. Any last
Uh,
words?
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, that is space genetics a new field in space. I believe not just space genetics, each and every field. Space is an extended field. Just add a prefix to its space, and it will become a new field. And as
I
more and
agree.
more days go on, different fields of space and different versions of human endeavors will come up. And with this hope, I'm moving towards that.
I don't know, Palette, how you will talk after a few more years because you're just 19 when you reach 20. I don't know if you're gonna be a philosopher or what, but I'm amazed. I'm amazed with the way how mature you think. Okay, you, Jason.
Thank
Any
you very
last
much.
word?
Hello, yes, good afternoon. So sorry, my cell phone is about to shut down, so I will make this very quick. Well, thank you again, Dr. Catherine, Dr. Thais, nice seeing you again, and Thomas and Steve Sankar. So we'll be meeting in another time. So thank you for this opportunity, and I would like to say that, well, research now is collaborative, and if we were able to fill in the gap on making our research possible, continent to continent, then we can have a more plausible and we'll have more impactful research and also engagement to our community. Because after all, I think we were on the first batches because we have to prepare ourselves for us to prepare our future generation. So
Thank you,
I think that's
Jason.
my philosophy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And Dr. Thais,
Well,
last word.
thank you.
Wi-
Last word. That's how I would like to end this series of space talks with the new generation, new ideas, lots of enthusiasm, and I hope it contaminates the space generation, new generation of the Philippines.
Thank you, Dr. Thais. And we, the older and more mature people in the field of space science, we will keep on taking care of these young kids because they're the future. And they are, I'm sure of it, they're much, much brighter than us. They're very bright, very aspirational, and they're transformative thinkers. So thank you very much, everybody. And in the end, we are all born explorers and we will bank on our curiosity and research to venture safely into space. So good luck and thank you very much. A great applause down here from Manila to Dr. Thais, Khaled, Thomas, and Jason. Nais ko pong pasalamatan si Nelson Lubao, ang station manager ng Radyo Agila, Kuya Eric Erbite, Jonas Pascual Renato, mga tech team natin sa stasyon. Sa ngalan po ni Dr. J. Agapito, ang ating makatang scientista, at si Dr. Bido David, Professor Octa, magkita-kita na naman po tayo sa susunod na linggo dito lang po sa programa na kung saan ang sensya ay buhay. Maraming salamat po.